What's going on there, fellow YouTubers? Chris back with you guys with another cool video. I think you guys are going to like this a lot. You're going to want to watch this to the end. Now, this here has got to do with the Chang'e 3, as well as a U-2 rover from China. And I think they were up there a little bit more than just for looking at rocks. And I'm going to show you that. But let me go back in history just for a moment because it's pertinent to what we're going to be talking about as far as the China, lander and rover. If you go back to like 1970, Russia had their Lunar 1 rover that went to the moon. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture of this right here. This is the actual Lunar 1, and it was an 8-wheel, independently. It had its own. Each of them had their own electric motors. And this thing was well equipped, guys. This thing was, now keep in mind, there was an actual series of 4 of these, okay? The Lunar in 1969, the Lunar 1, or they call it the Lunar 0, was destroyed during launch. The 1970 Lunar 1, which is this one here, and the 1973 Lunar 2 landed on the moon, and Lunar 3 was never launched. The success, I'm going to go ahead and slide this over so you guys can see what I'm reading here from my other monitor. And you can see right here the successful missions were in operation concurrently with the Zond. And if you guys know, I did a video on the Zond 3, I think it was, and the Zond 6. It might have been 3 or 6. But they had a series of those orbiters and Luna series of the moon flyby, orbiter, and landing missions. Okay, we'll slide that back over. What's crazy about it is that this particular one here, this Lunar here, it's well equipped. I'm going to tell you, this is what's crazy. Even back then, you guys can stop this any way you want, but check this out. I'm just going to read this second paragraph. It had an X-ray spectrometer, an X-ray telescope, cosmic ray detector, and a laser device, which were also included. The vehicle was powered by batteries which were recharged during the day by a solar cell array mounted on the underside of the lid, which is right here. You can see it in the right photo. And that would actually close down onto the body, which is also round. And you can see this was kind of the model of it, but that's not the actual real model. During the lunar nights, the lid was closed, and a polonium 210 or 210 heat source kept the internal components at operating temperature. Okay, so let me get this straight. Something like this thing, okay, which is, to be honest with you guys, Russia, you got to give them props, man. This thing is like way ahead of its time for what it had, because I also believe, now we can go back down to this page here. I'm going to show you something I think you'll like, because if you go scroll down this page, go down to Lunar 1. Now the way this thing is saying, I'm trying to remember where it had. Okay, right here was a lunar vehicle formed of a tub-like compartment with a large convex lid on 8 independently powered wheels. Its length was 2.3 meters. Lunar 1 was equipped with a cone-shaped antenna, a highly directional helical antenna, 4 television cameras, and special extendable devices to impact the lunar surface for density measurements and mechanical property test. Okay. What I find really weird about this, read down here the payload. The rover's payload included cameras, 2 TV, and 4 panoramic telephotometers, an RIFMA, X-ray fluorescent spectrometer, an RT-1 X-ray telescope, a PROP odometer, an RV-N2 radiation detector, and a TL laser retroreflector. Okay, why in the hell would you need a radiation detector on the moon? I mean, for what purpose? It would have to be for the area that they're going in. Okay. So now let's jump forward. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Let's jump forward, because when you look at this here again, here's the equipment, and this thing was, again, this was far ahead of its time. Now, the reason why I brought this up is this. We're what, 45 years later, China sent something up. Kudos to them. Got to give them props. However, I don't believe these people are that stupid. If you remember correctly, during this, when they sent their lander/rover up there, well, it wasn't slash because it was both, you're telling me within 2 days, it had 2 nightfalls, this thing totally froze and completely, it went dysfunctional. It just quit working, at least according to China. What's funny about it is they said, okay, yeah, it ceased to function because the solar panels on the U-2 rover were supposed to close and supposed to keep the internal parts warmer. Well, they said one failed to close. Okay, it's not like it's got a wind chill up there. Okay, and it does get rather cold and gets rather hot during the day. I get that. But even back in 1970, they had a way to keep the interior parts warm, just like we do on the Curiosity, that it has its own radioisotope to actually keep the internal functioning, everything working at a certain temperature, as well as it cooling down if it gets too hot. So you're telling me that China was that stupid that they didn't take into account that it can get that cold at night? I don't believe it for a moment. These people are not idiots. China is one of the, they're technologically advanced, pretty darn good. I find it hard to believe that they were that stupid and not to take that into account. Okay, so let's jump forward. Let's go into right here, and this is on phys.org, and I'm going to give you guys these links. You know that the one that had the lunar card, if you're interested in seeing that and reading up on that, as well as this phys.org. You guys know you get the links. First 360-degree color panorama from China's Chang'e or Chang 3, lunar lander. So of course you've got this here. You've got the actual lander here, and you can see where the rover has come down off the ramps, turned around. My guess is that it did a systems check to make sure everything was functioning, the motors were working, everything that they were turning as they were supposed to, so on and so forth, okay? So I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay. Chinese space officials have at last released much higher quality versions of the first color imagery captured by China's first spacecraft to soft land on the surface of Earth's moon, Chang'e 3 or Chang'e 3, depending on how you want to pronounce it. The panorama shows the magnificent desolation of a pockmarked gray lunar plains at the mission's touchdown site at Mare Imbrium. It is starkly reminiscent, get this now, this is what's funny, of NASA's manned Apollo lunar landing missions, which took place over 4 decades ago from 1969 to 1972. So they're trying to say, oh yeah, it's all consistent. I don't buy it. And if you can tell, they actually have, it's more of a brownish, lunar surface as opposed to just black and white like NASA always has. Now, some of the astronauts do state that depending on the light, the way you look at it, it will actually change colors. So we'll go with that. This is what I have a problem with. Anybody who does this, just look at this photo. I haven't done a thing to it, but I'm going to show you some cool inconsistencies and what I believe is really going on here. First of all, we see, again, the lander, and we can see the wheels where they come off. And, of course, well, let's slide it over this way. I'm thinking I'm on Photoshop. I could just slide the whole photo. And you can see, like I said, it spun around. So my guess is it did its own systems check when it come off the lander, turned around, make sure everything's functioning, so on and so forth. Okay. This is what I have a problem with. You can see the wheel marks going here into the shadows, and you can see, of course, your solar panels. There's one on each side. You've got your high gain antenna, the 2 cameras, so on and so forth. Okay. This is what I have a problem with. You can see blatant manipulation in this right off the bat. Don't have to do a thing to this photo. If you look, okay, check this out. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Now check this out. What happened to this other wheel mark? Whoop, it suddenly got, and you can see it right there just before the shadow, but right here got blocked. Why? Look at carefully. You can see right here, following along with my little pointer, going like this, you can see they blocked something out here. Why would they have to do that? You can see it. It's literally obstructing or went over the actual wheel mark. Now, for people might say, I don't believe that. That's BS. Okay. Here's another thing. Let's just zoom into this a little bit more. Now, you can see this blatant manipulation right here. Look at it all. Right in here. You can see blurring, but it's not just blurring. It's an overlay. They've taken something, there's something literally laying right inside this crater, supposed crater. And here's my other question to you guys. Do you believe this is a natural crater, or do you believe it's, let me just go ahead and zoom out of that. Or do you believe it's been created by something? In my opinion, this has been created by a crash. They're up there looking at a crash that happened on the moon. Now, before people go, oh, wow, this guy's a total fruitcake, I want to show you something I think you'll find interesting. So before you jump off this, check this out. I'm going to go to this area right here, and I'm going to zoom in. I don't have to do a thing to this photo. Check this out. What kind of rock would have an opening in the end, looks square at the very bottom under that hole, and has a line in the middle? I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. I just don't want it to get too badly broken up, okay? This item here has another opening right here, and it has looks like almost like at the very end of this nozzle, it has like this gray sleeve, if you will, or a piece at the very end of this, and you've got this whited area. Now, keep in mind they bring up the exposure in these photos for a reason. Anything that's lighter colored, you bring up the exposure. What does it do? You get this white or grayish bleed off these objects, so you can't see any detail of these, but you're going to see them in a minute. But just by looking at the photo, check this out. Something that's almost round right here. You've got this square piece right here. And there's much more detail in these objects, more than you know. Okay? Same thing with this item that's right on the side of this rover. And again, these are not rocks. These all in the background, not rocks. All of this in the background. And guys, I've showed you this on the Martian photos. They take this area right here. Okay? Now, people are under the impression that this rover can just keep driving over and just keep going. Now, it can to a certain degree, but there's objects laying here, okay? You'll see right here, very, very slight shadow. There's actually a different texture they put all over this whole area. There's something here, 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 and you can see it like here. It almost looks like a boat. You can see this rectangular spot right here. Now, people are going to say, I'm not seeing it. Hold on, you will. Trust me, you will see it. And then what they do is they put this texture and they overlay it right over this. They use it like an acetate. They put what they want over the photo and then they overlay this so that you can't tell what's in here. But you can bring out some of it if you try hard enough. And I've always said this, guys, the truth is there. If you look hard enough, you'll find it. Now check this out. Let's jump into Photoshop, and here we are. Now this photo was this big. It was at 66%, and you can see it on the lower left. Well, you probably won't because of my watermark is there. But then it just adds some pixels, and we can jump it right up there. And this way it allows me to zoom in a little bit better for you guys. Now, I'm going to just jump over. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the brightness of these rocks. Let's tone it down a bit. Firstly, I want to show you this. When you're looking at this area here, I'm just going to outline a few things on these rocks. Right here, there's this gray, dark gray piece. And it's only like, you can only see like 3/4 of it right here. Right there. Goes like this. Now you got this square piece with these holes in it. Okay? This to me is twisted metal, and you're going to see this a little bit better in a minute. Again, what the hell kind of rock does this? Check this piece out right here. Has an opening. Has this rectangular piece underneath, has a line going down, has this shape here. I don't know if this is original or if this thing's banged up or what it is. I believe these are bits and pieces of this craft or something that crashed here. Check this out. Again, we've got this round circle, and it's facing this way, and we've got this gray sleeve, if you will, or end to it, and of course it does this, but check it out. Even here, as vague as this thing is, you can see what looks like this square piece here. Okay? Let's move it right along. I don't want to make this too long. We've got this weird arch thing. Again, looks like some kind of opening. And this has been covered up. You can see, and you'll see this a little bit better. This is crazy. Check this thing out. This rock right here, supposed rock. Look at just some of the features on this thing. I kind of botched that up, but let me do it this way. Okay. Goes down. Does this, and you can see what looks like these vertical lines or horizontal lines there, depending, because if you want to look over to the other side. Now check this other right here, this area right here. Now I want you to pay close attention because you go, oh, well, that's pretty cool. It keeps going. Now watch this. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up a little bit. Well, okay. All right. Go back to here. Now check this out. Notice this line goes like this. Well, let's do it a little bit better this way. Goes like this, but it doesn't stop here. Look at the faint line. It keeps going all the way up to this piece. It also comes back down from this piece, and you're going to see this a little bit better. This piece, whatever it may be, is connected to this piece. Why can't we see that? Well, as I said, look at the blatant blurring right here in this whole this wannabe crater. You can see the difference in texture right here. Right here. It's been blurred out. You can see this whole area. Now, I attempted to try to get some of this out, and I did do a little bit here. And you can see now this piece here is now connected with this. See these two? These are connected. Okay? But there's more things in here. And when I say that, you can see these little white bits. You can see things like this coming off, going like this. I believe these are parts. I believe this stuff all filling this whole crater. Or is it a crater? And if it is, I believe it's caused by this wreckage. Now, let's go over to this other rock, supposed rock. Check this out. Again, we've got this here. This anomaly. All of these pieces here, I believe, are busted parts of whatever the hell crashed here. This one. This, I'm going to call it one piece now, because it appears that they are connected. All of these pieces here are actually parts of this craft or whatever it is that crashed. This one here is a dead giveaway to me. Holy shit, look at this. Like I said, 3/4. Now let's do this. Now this is what I did. I brought down the actual color and then used the dodge tool to try to bring out any details. Check this thing out now. This is a hunk of metal or some kind of machinery. I'm going to go ahead and zoom into it for everybody on the smaller devices. Check this out. There's no way. This is supposed to be actually straight. Going like this. You've got this, what looks like a 3/4 circle, and you'd probably see the rest of it if this wasn't here, with something going across. This, to me, is a piece of intelligently made object, intelligently made. And of course, you've got again this piece, and look at this right here at the end of this white piece, right here. Check out, it's got more detail in it now from this. See how if they again bring up the exposure, you can't see any detail. Bring down the exposure, and then use the dodge tool to bring out any kind of lines or anything of that sort, and you get what looks like wreckage. Now, let's jump over to this. Here's another part. Here's another part I believe is more wreckage. And part of it is they're trying to hide it right here. And again, you can see this right here, where they actually messed up and took out part of that piece. And they were careful about this because I think these are antennas here, right here. There's one here, and there's one here. And they went around this. Now, again, I'm going to go ahead and back out, and I'm going to show you this. Check that out. Look at the difference in, you can see how they've done that. Again, wheel mark coming in. Boom, disappears, and then it reappears on the other side. Why would it do that? Something has been taken out of this. Look at this. See, what they're doing is, at least in my opinion, I believe what they're doing is they're taking out bits and pieces, or most of what we're seeing here, and only leaving little pieces, so that way there it looks like more rocks. They have to show something on the surface. They're going to go, people are going to go, you're telling me there's no rocks at all on this lunar surface? Come on. Well, the thing is, if you pay attention, you can literally see this stuff a lot more. Now, it goes much deeper. Look at this right here. I highlighted these here. In other words, anything that has, and I've said this before, has like this white signature as opposed to gray or black. Once you use the dodge tool, you can bring this out. Okay? Now, watch this. This is what it looked like. You can actually see this object here. Watch this. See it? Right here, there's a piece of white going down like this. And in this piece here, you can see the way it's shaped. See that? It actually goes down further than that. And you can see there's bits and pieces laying all over the ground here. I believe this is a giant crash site. Now, let's get to the background. Again, I don't want to take this too long. I want to be too long on this. This whole background is bogus, just like they do in the Martian one. What do they want to do? If they want to hide something, they simply go, oh, well, this is what we'll do. We'll go ahead and whatever's laying on the surface here, we'll try to blot it out with a different texture and then just overlay. Like I said, they were using a lot of acetate, which is basically like a transparent. They would draw whatever they wanted over it, like a texture, and then overlay it over the original so you can't see it. However, you can burn through it to a certain degree to find something there. Okay, let's go ahead and enhance this whole thing because I told you what I thought right here. You can see it. I'll go ahead and zoom back in. There's an object here. This is what's funny. Where's that other spot? This was great. Oh, right here. This is awesome. Right here, you can see where they went like this. This whole area, right in here, they literally blocked out as much as they could of that, and you can see that. Look at this. I mean, the whole thing is a mess, but you can see here where they really went to town on something to try to get rid of it. See it? Right in that swath right there. Okay. Let's back out a hair bit. And again, let's zoom into this. you can see right here where they literally, and you can see the dock here, there's a speck here, 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 where this object is literally still peeking through. But they've actually taken it completely out, and then they overlaid this over it. But there's actual objects laying here. Now I'm going to show you guys the enhanced. Now you're going to see, watch this. There's objects laying in the background. Okay? Check this out. Whatever the hell this thing is, I believe it's part of this craft. I think it's whatever crashed here is part of it. It's a huge exploded field, if you will, of crash stuff. This is the reason why this thing turned, wouldn't go into it, because there's parts laying all over the ground. Look at this. Even right here, you can still see this right here. And it almost, I don't know why they would do this, but it looks like they left, you can see where it's blurry here and goes off. Right here, goes off. But yet you can see a bit of white, and something right in the middle. I don't know what the hell that is, whatever the reason is, but check this out. Whatever it is, it's laying there. Now, all you can get is bits and pieces out of this, but check this out. You can see what looks like things laying here, different pieces. You can see other bigger chunks of whatever the hell this thing is. Check this thing. It almost looks like a freaking boat laying there or something. See how it's got this... Well, of course, I overextended that, but yeah, you get the idea. See that? It's just kind of like this rectangular... But whatever the hell this shit is, check this out. You can actually see that object, well, that they covered up, as well as other objects. You notice how you don't see it in the rest of this, right? Excuse me. You don't see it in the rest of this photo because you're only seeing what's really in the photo. In other words, what I did is I use a dodge tool because anything that's lighter will pop out through this. Now, there's no way to say exactly what these things are. Couldn't tell you. But when you look at the bits and pieces, well, actually there's two there. My bad on that. You got the two here. This object here. Something's clearly laying right here. Something here. There's just a bunch of things just laying all over the place and in different positions. And it's hard to even tell whether these are actual other things. It could be structures, could be something else. I think this is a crash scene. And I think they knew exactly what they were doing when they went up there. I think that's exactly what they're doing. Now, let me go ahead and dock in this. And I really made it dock for a reason. Watch this. Let's get into this because I want to show you guys by just making this docker. And I didn't do anything to this. In fact, I'm going to show you guys how easy this is to do. Okay? Check this out. Again, it looks like it has features of twisted metal. And all I got to do is do this. And you can see the little gray docker areas. Something looks mechanical. Again, here. 2 circles. And look at these other anomalies. These are not just rocks, guys. This is actually crashed stuff we're seeing here. And what I do is I brought it all down so we can actually see these parts a little bit better. Okay? And you got this. I mean, look at this thing. What the hell? Let me see if I can... Okay. If it's here, you'll actually see some of these horizontal lines. They literally go out further than this piece itself. Why? Because there's something more hidden. There's something else in this crater. And I think whatever crashed here, rolled over this surface or whatever, and came to rest, I think that's what caused this small crater. And if all of these are what I think they are, okay, that would make sense. It literally just crashed and obliterated all over the ground. Just like you would see like a regular plane crash, and it makes absolute sense. I'm going to zoom in just a hair bit more for everybody to see these individual pieces so you guys can make your decision on this. And guys, this is all over the place. These are not even rocks. Here, all the way up in the top here, all the way up in here. These are not rocks. These are all bits and pieces of whatever the hell crashed here. Again, here's that weird, has that gray piece to it, and what looks like a circle at the end of it, like an opening. Okay, see it? Right there. This one has an opening as well, but it looks like it kind of goes like this, comes down, has this, and you can see what looks, whatever the hell this thing is, clearly that's not a rock. I mean, again, here's that other piece I was telling you about. Has this kind of funky piece here and has this opening. We can see that right here, and you can see how these are actually connected, at least by lines they are. Okay, now I'm going to back out. This is the reason why I did that. I don't care about those at the moment because I was trying to do the whole background. And I'm telling you guys right now, I think that that's exactly what this is. It's a giant crash site, and I think it's no wonder while suddenly, ooh, if you remember correctly, what they said about the U2 rover was they finally got it kicked off again within, I don't know, a few days. Oh, there's life again. We got it working functionally pretty much. And then all of a sudden, a week later, we're going to let the rover continue on its research on the moon, but we're not going to be sharing anything with the public. Imagine that. So what are they really there for? This is only my opinion, and of course it's nothing but speculation because, again, we can't prove whether it is there or not because we can't go there, right? So, but in my opinion, looking at what we're seeing here, I'm telling you right now, this is a wreckage. And again, of course, you guys get your own say. You guys can tell me what you think this stuff is. But to me, there's no way, man. This is just absolute wreckage. This is stuff being laid around or just scattered about. And this doesn't look like just regular rocks. Now, people go, well, how do you know what a regular rock looks like? Well, I don't know. I live in a mountainous area. I see rocks and all kinds of layered rock on mountains and hills and everything else. And again, we've got all these pieces. And I believe this stuff is actually, there's a whole bunch of this more laying inside this. But they wanted to block it out because it would have gave it away even more so. You would have seen more of what these things really look like. This is just twisted metal, guys. Bits and pieces broken off of something. Now, here's the big question. Is it something we had and crashed on the moon? Or is it something that's not ours? Meaning extraterrestrial, something else more than that? I don't know. That's something there's no way of knowing. But I'd have to say, think about this. Russia sent their lunar cart up in 1970. We already had manned missions to the moon in 69. Okay. Why is everybody going up there? Same thing, question applies to Mars. Why the big bum rush? We got America, India, China wants to go, Russia's already there. I mean, we got all these people going to Mars. For what reason? Same reason with the moon. It's nothing more than just a ball of rock with nothing there to see, right? Why are we there? Why are they there? Why the big bum rush? Why is everybody going up there just to see simple rocks? Oh, well, we're going to do some kind of checking out of this, and, we're just going to check the contents of the soil. Or maybe they had that basically radiation detector. What the hell was that for? Maybe to check out a crash site. I don't know. You guys give me your take on it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm seeing this and I'm just going, you know what? Come on. I believe there's much more of this going on than meets the eye. I believe all of these here, when you stop and just zoom into these, you can see they don't look like rocks. They look like other pieces laying around on the ground. Especially this big old piece right here. Reminds me of a bell housing for a transmission. But you can see bits and pieces of this thing. It doesn't look like a rock. It looks like something mechanical. You can see something doing this. Like it's all bent to hell and back. What the hell is it? And you can see how they blatantly blurred this out. Right here. Taking out part of the wheel mark on the ground. Doing this, and then they stopped, and of course they took out the rest of it. But they went around these antennas that's sticking out of this U2 rover. You guys tell me, man, what do you think's going on here? And then couple it with the stuff in the background, and we'll go ahead and fully enhanced. Couple it with that. All of this junk laying around, this stuff all laying around here on the left. There's no way, guys. There's no way. This is the reason why this rover turned the way it did. Now, I thought maybe that's it's going to go into a crater. I don't think it's a crater. It's a crash site. They're literally looking at whatever's in this crater. And, I think if you notice, it doesn't have a wall. Check this out. And you can see this pretty darn good. Let's go to the original. You can see this pretty darn good where it has more ejector. It looks like it's going right here. But it looks like whatever came in from this end, came from here, going into this way. And you can see that. It looked like it literally came in from that direction and crashed into this area. Or it just came in from this direction, just crashed right into it. Either way, this stuff is just scattered all over the place. Give me your take on it, guys. Tell me what you think. I've done this video a while back. And when I looked at this, I'm going, wow, that is just crazy. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, the more I looked at this, I'm looking at them rocks, supposed rocks, and I'm going, I'm not buying it. So the more I get into this photo again, I went, no way, no how. This is some kind of crash site, and what they're looking at is what's left over from this crash. And this is the reason why they're up there. Think about this a minute. Look at all the stuff that's laying around, both over here on the left, okay? And we're going to go ahead and do this. All of these objects right here, this object right here, and whatever they blotched out right here, think about it. It had to turn around it. It could not go like this. Look at it. Turned, went this direction, couldn't keep going. It had to go like this and go around the object. Whatever the hell's laying here. And then whatever's in the back here. When you look at the back, there you go. It couldn't go any further. It's just going to sit there and it's going to inspect all of this stuff laying here. It had to go around all of this junk laying here. This is a big crash field. It's a big crash field. That's all this is. And I think that's the reason why they're up there. And think about it. I believe, and I've said this before, I believe the moon had plenty of crafts, maybe from other, I'm sure from us as well, orbiters, maybe our failed attempts to send things up there, which they never told the public, and they've crashed. But I don't think they're going to go up there just looking at our own crash junk. I mean, they just go, oh, okay, it was a failed mission. Oh, well, you know, what are we going to do? We'll just do better next time. And, of course, they have all the data saying what happened, maybe a booster rocket, and, of course, it went out of control, crashed into the lunar surface, whatever it may be. But they're there looking at something much more extravagant. I think this is a crash site. I believe that this was actually something not ours. And what I mean of not of this Earth. But, of course, you guys can give me your take on it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sorry it took so long. There's a lot to share in this. I wanted to go back to talk about even the earlier remote control rover from Russia, the Lunar 1. As advanced as it was, it could heat its environment inside its internals, and it could run fine and everything else. China's no idiots, man. These people are not stupid. These people are smart people. And yet suddenly this thing takes a dump, which incidentally, if you remember correctly, they said, okay, it quit working. We're not getting a response from it, so on and so forth. Yet those ham operators here on Earth heard it pinging. Pinging basically says the computer's functioning, everything's working fine, we're ready to go. And it's no different from what we have right now on Mars with the Curiosity rover and the Opportunity. They also could ping, and they do. It's just basically saying, like if they got the sun here, we're on this side of the sun, Mars is on the other side, we can't send a signal, but yet it has an X-band on the Curiosity rover that sends a signal directly from the rover to Earth and saying it's okay until we finally get into where we can actually reach Mars and the orbiters around Mars to actually say, okay, continue operations. It basically goes into a standby mode, but keeps pinging, letting it know that it is still functional, ready to go. This rover is no different. They lied. They said, well, no, I mean, it's not functioning. Yet people here on Earth, we're going, bullshit. It's actually pinging. It's functioning. And then all of a sudden, you know, like I said, within 2 days, a couple overnights, it freezes and goes stupid, at least according to China. And, okay, it's going to continue its research on the moon, but we're not going to share nothing with the public. I think this is the reason why. You guys tell me what you think. Is it something more extravagant, or is it just nothing to you guys? I strongly believe, in my opinion, that this is a crash site, and I think this is what they're looking for, and I think this is the reason why our men went to the moon during these moon missions to see crash spacecraft that could have crashed a long time ago. These craft that are scattered all over the place, including structures. We see a lot of those. Guys, they're not going to spend this money. They're not going to spend all this money and take the chance. Now, Russia was smart. What they did was they said, well, seeing as how we can't send a man to the moon while we were doing it, the Apollo missions, fine, we'll send a rover. And that's what they did. Next best thing. And I think they did a great job. Kudos to them. Same thing with China. I think they did a great job. They got the Chang'e 3, which is the actual lander, and of course the U-2 rover. They got it all there. But why lie to the public saying that this thing is non-functional? I think it is functional. I think it looked at even back then, the Lunar lasted from 70 to 71. Whether it was a half a year or a full year doesn't make any difference because it's a lot longer than 2 days, and this is back in 1970. That's why I'm saying, China, I believe you people are smart people. I don't think for a moment that this thing just took a dump and just quit. I don't believe that. Not to mention, they were pretty smart. They got a telescope right here on this Chang'e 3, or Chang 3, depending on how you want to pronounce it, on this lander. So they can actually look out into the atmosphere, because there is no atmosphere, or look out into the solar system and see stuff without any kind of distortion from any atmospheric distortions or anything. So pretty cool as far as that goes. Guys, tell me what you think is going on. Give me your take on it. I think this is huge because not only is NASA lying with the moon missions, and I don't mean that they didn't go, because yes, they did, going by the stuff I've seen in these photos with the astronauts in it, they absolutely did go. And here's another example how they went to the moon, China, and I believe they're looking at a crash site. Why would they spend all this money and time and effort to get there only just to look at simple moon rocks? Not buying it. Same thing applies with Mars. I don't believe they're up there just looking at simple, a little bit of dried ocean bed or lake bed and a couple rocks. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Nobody's going to spend that kind of money. I've always used this as an analogy. Let's say you move next to a giant lake and you're looking out over the lake and you go, wait a minute, there's a house way over there. I can see it from this little itty-bitty little house. Big lake, What's the best way to get around it? And you're going, well, I can't get around the thing. What's the best way to do it? Try to find it. Try to see it closer. Well, get out binoculars, a telescope, whatever, and have a better look. Now you see something and go, wait a minute. It looks like it's abandoned. It looks like there's antique cars laying there. I want to take a better view of this. You will find a way to get there. It's the same thing here with on the moon and on Mars. They have these orbiters. They're taking photos, high-resolution photos of whatever's on the planet or the moon. And they're going, guys, we're seeing things here that don't belong. Get up there as soon as you can. If you can't send a man, like to Mars, go ahead and send a rover, have it look around. Now they want to send man, right? The opposite happened on the moon. Well, at least not the opposite, but for us, we sent man. Russia sent their rover. Why the big bomb rush? What are we trying to see up there? What are we trying to look at? You guys tell me. Again, give me your views on it. Tell me what you think is going on. And like I said, I apologize for taking this long. I just had a lot to offer on this thing and let you guys know what's going on, what I think is going on, right back from the earlier missions. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Again, always appreciated. I got some more cool videos coming up, everything from more moon, Mars, and other bodies in our solar system. Stay tuned for that. Anyway, guys, share the video. Give me a thumbs up. Always appreciated. You guys know that. And of all things, most important, give me your comments down below. Let me know what you think. With that, you guys have yourself a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.